Dear students, welcome to Lalsa's classes. In this particular video, we are going to understand John Keats' Ode to GRECIAN urn. Now the question arises, what is an urn? An urn is a sort of vase. It can be used to hold flowers or be placed in a garden, but most likely you will know this word as a container that holds ashes of a dead person after he has been cremated or burnt. Whilst you are reading Keats' poem, have a think what kind of use Keats has in mind for the urn. The urns that were made in classical times by the Greeks and Romans had decorations on them of figures dancing, playing sports, fighting, and even having sex. The figures on the urns could be humans or gods. Now the question arises, what is an ode? Because we are reading a poem which is an ode. So this is a classical kind of poem that was originally meant to be sung. The ancient Greeks used to sing their odes. The ode can have various structures. It can be long or short. The stanzas can be regular or irregular. The subject of an ode is something that is loved and something serious that invites thought. Odes are not usually comical, although of course if a poet wants to make fun of odes, there are plenty of examples of it. Now talking about the theme of the poem, art, beauty and truth. Ode on a GRECIAN urn examines the close relationship between art, beauty and truth. For the speaker, it is through beauty that humankind comes closest to truth, and through art that human beings can attain this beauty, though it remains a bittersweet achievement. Rhyming scheme, it consists of a stanza of 10 lines of pentameter, opening with 4 lines, a quatrain, rhyming ABAB, and closing with 6 lines, that is a sestet of various rhyme schemes. Talking about the tone of the poem, John Keats' Ode to a GRECIAN urn is a poem that is written in the praise of the titular urn. Odes, as a rule, are formal and serious in tone. So, Ode to a GRECIAN urn is no exception. It follows a rhyme, structure and meter scheme that makes it formal. Talking about the first stanza, thou still unravished bride of quietness, thou foster child of silence and slow time. Sylvan, historian, who canst thus express a flowery tale more sweetly than our rhyme. What leaf fringed legend haunts about thy shape, of deities or mortals or of both, in temple or the dales of Arcady? What men or gods are these? What maidens loath? What mad pursuit? What struggle to escape? What pipes and timbrels? What wild ecstasy? Now talking about the glossary, some words: unravished, unhappy, loath. Here actually it goes for loath, in the modern English, so it goes for hate. Ecstasy, intense pleasure. Well, talking about the paraphrase of the first stanza, we can read like this. The stanza opens with the introduction to the other stanzas of the ode. The poet states that the urn is undamaged and static with time. It is timeless and it is married to stillness. It is also an adopted child of silence and stillness of time, meaning it is a child of abstract entities where the urn is unaffected by time and immortal. The poet even compares the urn to the Sylvan historian, where the storytelling quality of the historian is objectified into the urn, where the urn itself has the capability to narrate and sketch its own story to the world and to the poet. It seems that the storytelling quality of the urn is better than the poet's rhyme and his poetry. The poet goes on to observe that there are many occurring images in the urn, and he questions if these images are the pictures of some deity or mortals or Greek heroes. The poet wonders if the images represent Tempe or Arcani because of its pastoral setting and simple lifestyle. He also sees the woman who is running away from a man and what is being pursued to her and what is she even trying to escape. He also sees the image of the young man playing the pipes and instruments with joy and happiness. Now, talking about the second stanza, it reads like this. Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. Therefore, ye soft pipes play on, not to the sensual ear, but more endeared. Pipe to the spirit, ditties of no tone. Fair youth beneath the trees, thou canst not leave thy song, nor ever can those trees be bare. Bold lover, never canst thou kiss, thou winning near the goal, yet do not grieve. She cannot fade, thou hast, it is hast, not haste. Thou hast not thy bliss. Forever wilt thou love, and she be fair. Now here glossary as far as is concerned. Ditty, a short, simple verse song. Here we see there are many words used by the poet, which are no more in vogue today in modern English. We can say these have become obsolete, but yes, we can connect. Now coming to the paraphrase of this stanza, okay, it will read like, the second stanza shows the image of the fair youth who is a young man playing a pipe, an instrument. The poet has given a reference to this even in the first stanza. No one has heard his flute, and the song as it is not meant for the sensual ear or for human ears. It is meant for the romantic souls or spirits who can imagine or hear this unheard melody playing by this young man. The urn projects that such unheard music are often sweeter than the heard music because it is unheard by others and it is new and fresh for human ears to listen. It is more endeared, means loved one, and the urn captures the merry flow of music of no tone that even the trees do not shed. The urn then projects the another image of a bold lover who is chasing after his lady love. He is so close to her, but never canst thou kiss, because both are frozen in time. The urn assures that the lover should not feel sad for unable to kiss her, for she will remain there with him forever, and their love is immortal. Well, talking about the third stanza, it reads like this: Ah, happy, happy boughs that cannot shed your leaves, nor ever bid the spring adieu, and happy melodist unwearied, forever piping songs forever new. More happy love, more happy, happy love, forever warm and still to be enjoyed, forever panting and forever young, all breathing human passion far above, that leaves a heart high sorrowful and cloyed, a burning forehead and a parching tongue. Glossary: adieu is of course bidding goodbye, by cloyed, blocked up, and parching, dry. Now talking about the paraphrase of this stanza, it can be like: the stanza 3 shows the imagery of a young man who is standing next to branch of a tree where the leaves cannot shed, and it will be spring forever. It is so because the image is timeless, and the young man's musical note will continue to play on merrily with joy and happiness tirelessly. It will be fresh and new as ever to the people who will continue to observe the urn as time passes by. The scene then shifts to a mere emotional range of consolation where the urn addresses the lover that their love is much better than the breathing human passion. Here the urn is showing that the lover is being consoled with the idea that the love of a conscious beings integrates itself for a temporal state of time. The segregation and disintegration of mortal love leaves a high sorrowful and unhappy range of emotions leading to stress and grievance. Hence, the urn projects the lover being consoled that his love is immortal and forever young, and better than the living beings, though he is unable to physically consummate and kiss her. Well, talking about the next stanza, that is the fourth stanza, it reads like this: Who are these coming to thee? Sacrifice. To what green altar, O mysterious priest, leadest thou that heifer lowing at the skies, and all her silken flanks with garlands dressed? What little town by river or sea shore, or mountain built with peaceful citadel, is emptied of this folk, this pious morn? And little town, thy streets for evermore will silent be, and not a soul to tell why thou art desolate can ever return. Now, glossary: heifer, a young female cow; citadel, a strong fortress; desolate, deserted or devoid of inhabitants. Now, talking about the paraphrase of this particular stanza, That is the fourth stanza. It goes like this. The fourth stanza opens with the rhetorical question of the image of the urn regarding the procession of sacrifice. The baby heifer is being brought to the altar for procession and sacrifice. It is highlighting the Greek pagan society where the heifer has been decorated with silken flags with garlands dressed. The urn then gives the image of the little town with a pastoral setting having a river and seashore as well mountains with a wind of serenity. It is notified that the town folks has disappeared and the town is silent for they have headed to the procession. It is also interesting to note the flow of romantic imagination that gives insight to the pertaining desolation and the answer where the people who looks at the urn and the imagery of procession will be ambiguous to know what exactly happened. There will be no definite answer to the pertaining desolation of streets and the procession for sacrifice, as the townsmen have gathered for procession and they will never return back to the town to give answer to the people because they are frozen in time. Here it is, have. Now talking about the next stanza, that is the fifth stanza. It reads like, O Attic shape, fair attitude with breed of marble men and maidens overwrought with forest branches and the trodden weed, thou silent form dost tease us out of thought, as doth eternity cold pastoral. When old age shall this generation waste, thou shalt remain in midst of other woo than ours, a friend to man to whom thou sayest, beauty is truth, truth beauty, that is all. Ye know on earth and all ye need to know. Now the glossary here. Braid, ornamental embroidery, overwrought, overdone. Now we see in every stanza there are many words, which are appearing to be archaic. They are no more in vogue. Okay, but still, we understand that in case of people like P.B. Shelley, and John Keats, yes, and S.T. Coleridge, we find many. Now talking about the paraphrase of this stanza, it goes like, the fifth stanza shows the physical appearance of urn, which is attic and beautiful. It is filled with lots of images, from marble men to maidens overwrought, to the pastoral setting of branches and trodden weed. The overwrought could signify two things in the ode, where firstly it could mean the overflow of emotions including happiness, sadness and excitement. Secondly, it could also mean the limitation of the urn, as the urn has too many images and it is crowded for the urn. The urn is silent but teases the romantic poets like Keats to inspire and write a poetry on it that will give immortality to the urn. The cold pastoral means the aloofness or detachment from human sufferings, because the urn has been sitting there in silence for many years about human misery as each generation passed by, and it has not shown any kind of attachment to human life. It will continue to witness every generation and sadness of each generation without feeling anything or just being silent, and only say this lines of humanity. Beauty is truth, truth is beauty. That is all ye know on earth, and all ye need to know. This line, these lines from the perspective of the Ode suggests that human happiness, here it is this line, not these lines. This line from the perspective of the Ode suggests that human happiness and joy, love and excitement, as well as being passionate, is something that is only defined and worth living unless it has an underlying truth in it that makes a complete sense of meaning. For instance, the young man who plays an instrument merrily, as well lovers who are passionate, and the people who are celebrating certain occasion, makes only sense if it has some truth in it. The truth is the basic essence of something worth valuing. If these emotions have an underlying value in it, then it is worth living for a human being. If the lovers whose love is true and worth living, then it is truth in beauty, for ultimately beauty becomes truth and truth becomes beauty. Now, talking about the poetic devices that are literary devices which are used by John Keats in this poem. Apostrophe. This ode begins with an apostrophe. Keats directly invokes the urn at the beginning. It also occurs in the following examples: O mysterious priest and O etic shape. Now, these are very good examples of apostrophe. Metaphor. Keats uses metaphors in unravished bride of quietness, foster child of silence, slow time, ditties of no tone, etc. Paradox is another poetic device we see here in this poem. The first three lines are paradoxical. Now, in these lines, the poet refers to the GRECIAN urn. From these perspectives, each reference is contradictory to the other. So we can also say juxtaposition. Now, it also occurs in the following lines: Thou winning near the goal, yet do not grieve, she cannot fade, thou hast not thy bliss. Now, alliteration is another poetic device we can see here. Leaf fringed legend. So this is hyphenated word. Okay, leaf fringed. So LL goes for consonant. Okay, we can count it as alliteration. Then another example we can see: Yea, soft pipes play. PP sound can be counted as alliteration. Now, heart high, sorrowful. So HH can be again counted as alliteration for consonant. Now, rhetorical question. The last three lines of the first stanza contain this device. For example, what men or gods are these? What maidens loath? Now, this is a very good example of rhetorical question. So that's all for now for this particular poem by John Keats. I hope the students will be able to understand it. If you like the presentation, please do like and subscribe for it. Thank you. Bye bye.